The journey of this week is Darkworld. Man, that structure deck hit hard. And by hit hard, I mean showed that there was some pretty cool combo. I'll make the review, guys. And not smash the little crap out. Subscribe button. Smash it, please, so we can get to 110,000 here. Alright, so Darkworld was the big topic of this weekend, as we saw this deck hit the ground running in the OCG post-structure deck release, and it definitely seems that post everything getting set up here, that it looks like it was pretty successful in the attempts that it wanted to make. So we have triple copies of Skittles, the Supreme Overlord of the Darkworld here. Special summoned from the graveyard by returning a level 7 lower Darkworld monster you control to the hand. If discarded the graveyard by a card effect, you can add a level 5 or higher Darkworld monster from your deck to your hand. So it can technically search for Selva, it can search for our dear friends, Grapha, easy peasy. Alright, it just can't search for itself. And this discard from your hand to your graveyard by your opponent's card effect, so summon a level 4 or lower Darkworld monster from your deck or graveyard to either field. So that's going to be really good. We have triple copies of Danger, Bigfoot, because discard potential is all really good. We have 2 Thunderbirds, triple copies of Grapha still. The fact that the summoning conditions behind these things aren't, once per turn really makes them solid. We have 2 Danger Nessies to facilitate the rest of combo. 2 copies of Silva. I love the fact that, gold doesn't get any love. We care more about this being level 5 than anything else, I guess. We have 1 Mothman. Triple copies of Snow to search for the best card in our deck. We have 2 copies of Beige, because this is still single-handedly one of the best Darkworld cards. Just being a free on-discard special itself with 0 consequence is so good. We have 1 Zephyros the Elite, 2 copies of Chupacabra. Then we have Mr. Genta here. You can discard it to add your best card in Gates of the Darkworld from your deck to your hand. And, alright, if this card is banished and you control a Darkworld card, gets to special summon itself as an additional body onto the field. Technically, if you would exceed with it, it would get to go back to the graveyard to revive itself. But you know what? It's really, really solid. I'm actually glad to see that our Gates of the Darkworld Searcher actually serves a purpose here. Then we have 2 copies of Brow for additional discard draw. 2 copies of Yield Jackalope. And then we have good old Celery here. I've discarded the graveyard by card effect. Special summon this card to your opponent's graveyard. Alright. In face-up defense position. And this card is special summoned by the effect of a Darkworld card. Your opponent has to discard a card, which means that we can trigger our own cards. Yay! We have 1 Talent, 1 Card Destruction, and we have 1 Darkworld Ascension. So during the main phase, you can special summon, or fusion summon a Fiend monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials mentioned on it from your field and or graveyard. If you're summoning a Darkworld fusion monster, so you can discard cards from your hand as material. And then during the main phase of this card's in your graveyard, add it to your hand by discarding a Darkworld monster. So it gets to return itself back to the hand. And it's during the main phase, by the way, so you can go ahead and do this on either the player's turn. Then we have the 1 charge into a Darkworld. Or charge into a Darkworld. So yeah, you literally just have a monster reborn here for a discard cost. Then we have triple copies of Gate. Then we have 1 Cross Sheep, 1 IP. We have 1 copy of the News Reporter, which actually just ends up being an okay card in this deck. We have 1 Cerberus, 1 Akashic, the 1 copy. Nightmare Phoenix, 1 copy of Unicorn, the 1 Apo. 1 Saruja with the 1 Underworld Goddess. And we have 1 Dugaris, 1 Dingrisu, and 1 Coach King. Hey man, getting a draw times 3 is really good. And then we have Mr. Grapha, Dragon Overlord of the Darkworld. So it's a Grapha plus any dark monster, by the way. When your opponent activates a normal spell, trap, or monster effect, you can make that effect become your opponent discards 1 card. Okay, it's really good. You only use this effect of Grapha once per turn, and if this fusion summon card in its owner's control leaves the field by an opponent's card, you can special summon 1 of your Grapha Dragon of the Darkworld is banished or in your graveyard. Then each player discards a card. Alright? And it specifically says with a hand, by the way. So very good. Then we have triple Seer Mode, 1 copy of Druidworm, triple Magnuma, triple Maxi, 1 Droll, 1 Baguski, and triple copies of Infinite Permanence here. Wrapping up Danger Darkworld. Next up is Naturia Venizer Fairies. Now, I had an entire video dedicated to this, but watching this deck's evolution just undergo constant change here. This deck is really just a massively scary threat because of this thing. Once per turn, when a monster effect is activated by your opponent resolves, if you control 5 or more Earth monsters, you can negate that activated effect, and if you do, destroy that monster. You can only use each of the following effects of Vera once per turn. So you can target 1 face monster your opponent controls, take control of it, and if you do, it becomes Earth. During your opponent's turn quick effect, you can target 1 Earth monster in your graveyard and special summon it. 5 Earth Fairies, and we got a walking, talking negate here. Alright, so we have 1 Vera, 1 Pinkertops, triple copies of Kishira, Lufenrir, 1 Horneedle with 1 Retaliating Sea, triple Camellia, triple copies of the Forest and Awakening, triple copies of Hills and Blooms. Then we have 1 Goki Pull, the 1 copy of the Fairy of Flowers and Fields, triple copies of my favorite duck. Then we have 1 Stinky Bug, triple copies of Ash Blossom, triple Maxi, 1 Sunflower with the triple Mole Cricket. And then we have 2 copies of Prosperity, 2 Called by the Grave, 1 Naturia Sea Breeze. Then we have 1 copy of Crossout and 2 copies of the Sacred Tree. Extra deck down here, pretty simple stuff. We have 1 Nightmare Cerberus, the 1 Synthesis, 1 Asa with 1 Unicorn, 1 Soldier Chaos, 1 Access Code, 1 Underworld Goddess, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Baguski, 1 Alamoros. We have 1 Arsenal Zeus, 1 Naturia Beast with 1 Barkia, 1 Draco Berserker, and 1 copy of Baron de Fleur. Then we have 2 Big Balls. We have 2 Alpha Master Beast, 1 Druid Worm with 2 Magnamut, 1 Contact Sea with 1 Bamboo Shoot, 1 Tackle Crusader, 1 Mudora with 1 Naturia Vein, 2 Lightning Storms, and 1 Solemn Warning here. Wrapping up another interesting little toolbox of things for you guys here. And then we have rocks. Oh boy. You know, the thing I wanted to talk about with this rock deck here was honestly just this card. We actually are getting the chance to see a tech choice here for Swords of Concealing Light. Destroy this card during your second standby phase after activation. When this card resolves, change all monsters your opponent controls to face down defense position. Monsters your opponent controls cannot change their battle positions. Gives you an immediate out to this thing so you can actually play the game. Now, obviously, you can't turn down, Link monsters with this, but that shouldn't be much of a problem. Not at all. Obviously, the OCG gets to play triple copies of Block Dragon. So good. We have triple copies of La Fenrir, 1 Gigantus, then we have 2 Quackimare Guardians, triple copies of Roxy's, triple Analyzer, triple Supplier, triple Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. We have triple copies of Seeker, 1 Dropsies, 1 copy of the Extender here, discard to normal summon an Earth or Water monster during the main phase this turn. Then we have the 1 Doki Doki, triple Maxi, triple copies of Researcher, 1 Fansies, 1 Turbo Booster with triple Small World, 2 Called by the Grave, and 1 Crossout Designator. Then we have 1 Meow Meow Mew, so good OCG. We have 1 IP, 1 Union Carrier, 1 Transverser with 1 Sprite Elf, 1 Doodle Doop, 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn with 1 Appaloosa, 1 Access Code, 1 Gigantic Sprite, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Gallant Granite, 1 Repite, 1 Dragite, and 1 Baron. Our side deck here is going to be some of the most basic stuff ever. So we have 2 Godarlas, 1 Pinkertops, triple Druid Worm, okay. Then we have 1 Ghost Spell, 2 copies of Lightning Storm, triple Swords of Concealing Light, and triple copies of Infinite Permanence here. Wrapping up some Adamancipator love for you guys. And, this card, so good. Quick effect, if your opponent controls a monster, this card is sent to the graveyard, blah, blah, blah. Just so good. Special summon this card. This is a quick effect if your opponent controls a monster. Okay. Target 1 of your opponent's special monsters, send it to the graveyard. Thank you, OCG. You love to see hand traps. And then last but not least, we got some Witchcrafter love today for you guys. Because Witchcrafter doesn't... when it shows up, it seems to be a lot harder to capture. So we have 1 copy of Aruru, 1 Madame Vuri, 2 copies of Hein, 1 copy of Adele, triple copies of Schmitta, triple copies of Red Cartesia. We're finally getting some love here. 1 copy of the old Magistus. And then we have 2 Pittore, 1 copy of Pottery, triple Jenny. We have 2 Magician Souls. And we have 1 Instant Fusion, 1 Collaboration, 2 Grasslook Screener, 1 Magicalized, 1 Invocation, triple copies of Witchcrafter Confusion. Then we have 1 Triple Creation, triple Reasoning, 1 Metaphos Fusion, 2 Holiday, 1 Monster Reborn, 2 Prosperity, 2 Called by the Grave. Then we have 2 triple Brandon High Spirits, 1 Draping, triple Unveiling, 1 Magician's Left Hand, 1 Scroll, 1 Restage, 2 copies of By Street, 1 Right Hand. Then we have 1 Masterpiece and triple Petronius. And we have Relinquished Anima, we have Yield Artemis, 1 Hida, 1 Lina, 1 Dahark, 1 Celine, 1 Access Code, 1 copy of Reliana, 1 copy of From, 1 Zoroa. Then we have Yield Millenniumize, Yield Endless, 2 copies of Vice Master, and 1 Master Chaos. And we have triple copies of Effect Veiler, triple Raigeki, 1 Harvey's Feather Duster, 1 Dark Hole, 2 Dark Roll No More, 1 Twin Twister, triple Evenly Matched, and 1 copy of Summon Limit, wrapping up your chunk of OCG deck profiles this week. So what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below. Too much your say. Make sure you guys smash the subscribe button. Subscribing. See your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.